episode of the Playwrightpreneurs podcast is brought to you by my new book, Everybody's Got a Story: How to Write, Direct, and Produce Yours for Stage. Do you want to become a playwrightpreneur? Perhaps you have an idea, a unique experience, or a scenario that you would like to see unfold on the stage. In my new book, Everybody's Got a Story, I offer strategies, information, and valuable resources that will help inspire your story into a theatrical stage play. Just go to Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or to my website, tracybonick.com, to get your copy now. Let's get started with this episode. This is episode 19 of the Playwrightpreneurs podcast.
Welcome to the Playwrightpreneurs podcast, the place where independent playwright entrepreneurs can find tips and keen insights that will help them achieve more success without all of the stress. Here is your host, Tracy Bonnick.
Welcome, everyone, to the Playwrightpreneurs podcast. I have with us Mr. Akiva McClam. Welcome.
Hey.
Thanks for being a part of the podcast. And we'll just jump right in. Tell us about the name of your company and what you do.
Okay, my name is Akiva McClam. I founded the McClam Enterprise Production. Started in 2009. We just started from there. I basically got out of the military in 2008. And that's when I started writing, say around 2009. I did my first Christmas production where I was asked to do something because I knew I always had a lot of different ideas. So when my church at the time when I was attending asked me to do a Christmas production, and I said, okay, I'll give it a try. Well, I wrote that production in 7 days. Couldn't believe it. Wrote it in 7 days. Just the anointing of the Lord just started working with me and giving me ideas. And when I saw the response of the people from that play, I realized, like, wow, I have something here. God has given me a gift. And that's where it started. So I founded McClam Enterprise in 2000, 2009, 2010, and we just started from there.
That's wonderful. And you did the church Christmas production. How did they know you could write the production? I mean, what motivated you to become the playwright?
Well, it's funny. It was my wife that knew when we met in college. She already knew that I had a lot of ideas from the time we was in school. We attended Bethune-Cookman College. At the time it was Bethune-Cookman College, but now it's Bethune-Cookman University out of Daytona Beach. So she thought back to that time when I used to always give her some different ideas that I'm always writing, but I never took it seriously until they basically asked me, hey, could you seriously write us a production? And I gave it a try, and I saw the people responding, and it just started from there.
Well, what was the name of your first original work?
The first original, the production was called My Christmas Story. Mostly, a lot of my plays, I try to think of my mother, my family, and things like that, and then I write them in different characters. Not all of them. Like with My Christmas Story, it's basically I was thinking about my mother, being a single parent at the time, trying to do whatever she can and do to take care of her sons, make sure they provide a good Christmas,
Uh-huh.
So, but that was the first original play I wrote. It's My Christmas Story.
Okay. And when you started doing it outside of the church, did you do My Christmas there, or did you write something totally different and start out like that?
Once I got the results of doing that first production, I realized, okay, wow, I got something here. And I just started praying for guidance, and that's when we founded the McClam Enterprise Production. And I decided, I just heard from the Lord, do a lot of devotion. Now you can hear from the Lord. He just said, I need people to write for me that give me the glory in their plays, So therefore, I realized that I've been charged to do something, and it's for the glory of God. And what it is that he gives me these visions of how to take different biblical stories and just make them into a modern day storyline on stage. So I wrote the story of Cain and Abel, and I made it more modernized relationship between my brother and I. And I realized that growing up, there was a lot of favoritism was shown in the family. So I took that biblical story and I made it Cain and Abel relationship between my brother and I, a stage play. And the synopsis of the play was two brothers raised by their grandmother. One chose God, one chose the streets. So basically, and the story, like I said, was about my brother and I, and it was a great turnout. We did it in 2010 and 2013. Great turnout.
That is awesome. I'm glad to hear you say that, because I thought I was the only crazy person. I'm sitting in church and I hear Bible stories in my head. As soon as they mention the Bible characters, I start writing in my head. Does that happen to you?
All the time. So I can relate. Trust me, I can relate.
Yes. Oh, that is wonderful. And I'm looking forward to seeing Cain and Abel and whatever else you have. When you started McClam Enterprise Productions, did you use professional actors, or did you train new talent for your production?
So basically what I do, I go around and just search all around we call it the DMV. I go around D.C., Maryland, and Virginia looking for local talent. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm doing a lot of prayer, and normally God will guide me to the right people. And that's what I do. For the first few productions, I actually was guided to the right people to play those roles. And I asked them, I told them my vision, and I asked them, I say, I have seen you perform and done this here before. I got a role I think you'd be great in. And it always would be a good fit, from the singer to the actors or the actresses, normally, or the dancers, is normally a good fit. But I normally do local talent. However, I am starting now to move towards looking for outside the branch of looking at some more professional actors as well. When I say that, it's because of the work ethics. Because when you have a passion for something, you want to make sure people take your work seriously. And not saying they haven't done that, but you definitely want people to take your work seriously, showing up on time, having that same passion that you may have for your play, to learn the lines and want to perform and do their very best. So now I'm looking for more professional actors, and I may have to pay,
Right. And those who have a less than acceptable work ethic in your shows, how have you handled that over the years?
It's tough because when you see people that want to be a part of the production and they're not really coming to rehearsal, they'll call you maybe like an hour before rehearsal and they say, I can't make it. And I'm like, really? For real? You kind of knew this when you woke up.
Right.
But it's a lesson learned type situation. And the way I handle it now is that I now really don't get too excited when people hear about the play and say, hey, I want to be a part of your production. I don't get excited about that anymore because I have seen that so many times. And those are the ones that normally would do that is the ones that I really can't rely on. And also what I don't do, I don't look for people to try to be a part of the play, try to do me a favor, because they're also the ones that were going to let me down as well. I don't want anybody to want to do me a favor. Do it because you have a passion for it.
I agree. You speak in my language, but I guess it's the playwright language. I agree. You're absolutely right, because sometimes when people feel that they're doing you a favor, then, they change their mind about the favor, and then, they show up when they feel like it. And if they're going to do it, they will. And if they don't, they don't take it seriously sometimes. So I understand.
Exactly.
Did you write, direct, and produce your shows, or did you hire other professionals for those duties or get some help with that?
Okay, all of the above. I write it line for line. I produce it, and also I assist with directing, because with Cain and Abel, I hired somebody to direct because that was my first major production outside of doing it alone from the church. So I wanted to make sure I hired somebody that know about the business and very experienced, and I kind of went out and recruited a director. She did a great job for the Cain and Abel. I assisted her because, you've been a playwright. Nobody don't know your work, better than you. So right. I wanted to make sure that the ideas and everything with the scenes and the props, all that stuff, and make sure it's manifest on stage. So I assisted her with the directing. But now, I feel like I can direct, but directing takes so much work and so much time. So I would definitely still look for other directors as well in the system.
Have you acted in any of your shows?
No, I don't. I don't do any acting. I'm terrible. I think one day what I would like to do is like sometimes, with Spike Lee and those guys, they always show maybe they just the extra in the background. I think I'll do that. Right. I think I'll probably do. I'll be a good extra and don't have no lines. Just basically just be there, and I think I'll do just fine.
I like that idea. Do a cameo appearance. I like it. Yes.
Exactly.
That's pretty neat. I've never acted in mine either. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I stay away from that.
I do too, because you know what, when you're an independent playwright, sometimes when your hand is so full, like you said, you write, you direct, you produce, you have everything is on your shoulders. And of course we need all the help we can get, and we try to get it, but I would love to be in one of my shows, but I don't think I can, because who's going to be in the booth and who's going to be, so nope, can't do it right now.
Exactly.
I don't know how Tyler Perry does it, but, I can't do it. And okay, you mentioned.
I don't think Tyler Perry sleep.
You're right. And some of the sacrifices he made, sometimes I don't know if I'm willing. So
yeah, I know.
I know you mentioned that something about BET drama shows, Being Mary Jane and Tyler Perry. Tell us something of what you know about those shows.
Well, no, one thing about being a writer, I watch everything. I watch everything But one thing, this is one of my rules, though. I never take any ideas or anything from people because I feel like I serve a mighty God, and he's original, so he can give me ideas. What I do go and learn the craft of different people's style because I didn't go to school for this. This is something God instilled in me and gave me the ability to do it. So I go out and do my homework. For those shows that you mentioned, one of my actors that played in Cain and Abel just recently got picked up by Tyler Perry, and he's going to be appearing on the Haves and the Have-Nots. So I'm proud of him and Dwayne Mark Palmer. He just came on, made that announcement recently on social media.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And to think he was in one of your shows, what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's so much original work and so many ideas that God gives us, you know. It kind of saddens me sometimes that, you know, we feel like we have to duplicate what someone else has done. Even though I know there's nothing new under the sun, God gave you something, he gave it. If not, there's other plays that you can just purchase and do if you needed to. But I shouldn't have to see, Cain and Abel. Now I want to do Cain and Abel. Nah, I'd rather just come and see yours. How about that?
Right.
That's just my little 2 cents, which may not be worth anything, but hey, I feel like that. And you said something about the web series and Emmy-nominated TV series, House of Cards. What's up with House of Cards? That's one of my favorite series.
That's another one of my actors that played in Cain. He, matter of fact, was the lead role, Terrence Singler. He also started in Cain and Abel. We recruited him. And now he done branched off and done other production and also made a few appearances in House of Cards. So I'm proud of him as well. So, you know, these are guys that, you know, I had ability to direct and to, you know, and mold and, you know, work with, you know, and have some good conversation with. Now they out doing their things. And I can say, hey, I'm proud of those guys.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Tell me why people call you the Renaissance Man.
You know, it's an inside joke. It's basically, I had to realize that the direction that I'm going, I wanted to brand myself, you know, and I had to think, okay, what can best describe who I am? And I have many skills the Lord has blessed me with, from cooking to photography to playwright, sports. So I call myself the Renaissance Man, you know, and it's stuck. You know, now I got people calling me that now, and now I live up to the name because they say, wow, you are a Renaissance Man, because I pretty much do a lot of stuff, you know, that a lot of people say, how do you do it? And this is the blessing of God. He just gave me so much passion to do different things. So, and the reason why I did it, because I wanted to brand myself. The importance of branding yourself is very key in this industry.
Yes. Can you give some of the playwrightpreneurs, even myself, some tips on how to brand yourself?
You know, when I walk around, I feel like, you know, wherever you go, you got to create your own style, be yourself, create your own style. When you walk into a room, you know, walk into a room like you own it. You know, that's all branding, the way you carry yourself. Wherever you go, you're representing your business. You're representing your craft on the level of a celebrity. I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but just emulate the same way they carry themselves about when they go on interviews. They interview, you know, so you make sure you always in the present, when you're out in public, in social life, carry yourself like you a celebrity, I would say. You know, basically you're branding yourself wherever you go, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you just treat people, you know, so, and also the way your work ethics.
That's right.
That's all in branding. Yeah.
I love it. And I like what you said. Walk like you own it. Create your own style. Be yourself. I love it. Emulate celebrities. I mean, that could be a whole nother podcast title right there. A whole nother discussion that could help.
Exactly.
Not only playwrights, but in anything, any walk in life you're doing, because, you know, sometimes people are shy. I don't know if I consider myself shy, but I know I don't have a lot to say if I'm in a crowd of people that I don't know. So, you know, how do you handle something like that? See, some people come with personality. Look, sounds like you're the type of person who can walk in a room and you'll be all right. So, you know, you won't have that issue. You're okay with that. I was speaking to my sister today, and she's from the DMV area. She lives in not Baltimore, but Bowie, Maryland. And I was asking,
that's like 20 minutes from me.
Really? Okay. I was asking her, where do you want to stay in that area for life? Because I was telling her I wanted to go back to South Florida, or not South Florida, back to Florida. And I asked her, where are you going to be? Are you going to just stay in that area? She said she's not sure yet, but she made this comment. She said, but it doesn't matter wherever she lives, because she said, wherever I am, I'll be all right, because, it's almost like wherever she is, she's going to fit. It doesn't matter to her. So help a person like me who doesn't feel like that. How do you own it? How do you walk in the room and, just own it?
I'm sure when you look in the mirror, the person you see in the mirror, you smile at, right?
Yes.
You smile at that person you see in the mirror, right?
Most times.
Oh, well, you know what? When you turn that answer and say all the time, that's when you know you can walk in the room and you own it, because that same person you see that you smiling at, they're gonna smile at you as well. So it's all about your stature and the way you carry yourself. And I learned, if you walk in with a lot of confidence, and people are like, who is that person? I want to know who that person is. I probably have -0 in my bank account, but I'm gonna walk in there like I got Tyler Perry money, And before I know, I got me a couple sponsors and investors, because I have sold them my concepts of what I wanted to do. But that's all about owning who you are and believing what you're trying to do and branding yourself,
Right. Awesome. I love it. So I got me a lesson for free, y'all. Or all the playwrightpreneurs got a lesson today. I love that. And I noticed in your bio, you said that you've raised over $10,000 for local churches, and you give back to churches, and and your desire is to go back to your hometown in Fort Lauderdale and Bethune-Cookman in the Daytona Beach community. How do you give back to churches? How do you make that happen?
Well, initially when I did a play in 2010, the money we raised, we gave all the proceeds to the church. And then when I did a play recently, a couple of years ago in 2015, we did the same thing. And that total came up to $10,000 that I mentioned in my bio. So we have given back to churches, and we have shown churches that doing these type of fundraisers, it can happen. Giving back, with these stage plays productions, they're very known. And if you're doing the right thing, you're marketing the right way, people are going to come out and support. So, that's our way of giving back. We believe in giving and supporting the kingdom of God. That's what we did there. And also with the Bethune-Cookman, I graduated in 1996, and I have a vision that I want to go back and do a production at the new performance arts building they got there. When they just renovated over $1 million renovation. So I want to do that for that community.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Can you give us some tips on how to market? You said something about getting the word out or marketing on a shoestring budget. Do you have any tips for us?
What I try to utilize social media as possible, because anything, even when you look at the elections just recently happened, it's the old way of doing the election it's no more now because of technology. A lot of the politicians now are using social media and the word of mouth and basically using the live feed and things like that. That's what you got to do now. You got to take that advantage of what they're doing and do the same thing in marketing. I think going towards the future, social media is going to be the marketing scheme that you can do with the live feed on Facebook, Instagram, all these type of podcasts, like what you're doing. You get a good following group, and you stay on it by just always renewing and giving them more information on a daily basis. That's a good marketing way of there, and just passing the word out. I think that's one way of good marketing, and especially if you have a good marketer that is going to market your stuff. That's a good key as well. So I think that moving forward, I'm looking for a good person that can market. Somebody just got out of school and have that gift, they can come join my team, because with the ideas I have and with that person's experience and education, I think we can go far as marketing. So I think that's key.
Can you share with our audience about any books or publications you've written?
No, I have not written anything as of yet, but I do have a couple in mind that I want to write. I haven't really never got an opportunity to write a book. The plays can come easy to me, but writing that book, that structure and that body, creating that outline, a little different, but I have it in mind. I have a couple books titles in mind and what I want to write about, though, and I'm gonna have to get somebody to assist me with that. How can I take that now and put it into a book format and write that book?
Okay. And I'm so glad you said that, because I've been writing a book for a little while, and you're right. My brain, I can write a play, it seems like that doesn't come so hard, but writing this book it's like a whole different animal. And I was like, if you can write, but it's not coming easy.
It's It's a different arena.
Yeah, and it's not that it can't be done. It's just like, I guess I expected, just like I can whip out a play if I need to, I can whip out a book. No, it doesn't work like that. So my hat's off to all the published authors out there. I'm telling you, I'm going to be one as well, but today, just a published playwright.
I know that's right.
Yeah. So is there a resource you can recommend to our listeners that has helped or inspired you?
Actually, I started watching Tyler Perry when I was at Bethune-Cookman University at an early age early years in his career when he was, I think he visited Orlando, Florida at the time, and he just had a few props on stages, but I watched him and I say, wow, this guy's funny, and I started watching him and keeping in touch with what he's doing. And look what he's doing now. Basically, now he's a billionaire. And, so early in my life, I started watching him and learning from him. And it's just encouraging to see that he stuck with it and knowing his story that he once was homeless, but he never gave up on his dream and his concept of his writing. And now look at he's a billionaire. So that always encouraged me, too. So whenever I get discouraged, I always look at some of his YouTube and things like that. So a lot of my, my driving and my passion comes from God. All this is, I can't do without God, so he gives me the vision and I just, get up and do it.
Yes. Amen. What other projects are you currently working on?
Okay. Now this project I'm working on, I'm excited about, but it's called Deep Cover, Let Your Light Shine in Dark Places. I actually did a deep cover play in 2015, but now I'm doing a series of this here, a second series, but it's called Deep Cover, Let Your Light Shine in Dark Places. This play is basically for the last 2013 up to the present time. I've been noticing, and we all been noticing a lot of the interaction with the police department and the shooting, the injustice and things like that. Now, this play, when it started with Trayvon Martin first getting killed with the cell phone recording everything and then bringing it to exposure to life, everybody's like, wow, what's going on with all these shootings? Now, I sat and watched this now, but nobody was talking about it. They was talking about it on the media, but as a Christian, I was like, man, I'm watching this and I'm looking at this here and I'm thinking like, why is only a certain part of people talking about this and the other certain people not talking about it? So Deep Cover is more of a metaphor, is that we're going to live in dark times in this world. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen, but we don't really understand it. But as a body of Christ, we got to work together to talk about it and understand it and make sure we are being the light of this world and that we show God's light and his love of this world during these tough times. So Deep Cover is a metaphor. These are the deep thoughts or deep things that we do to separate the body of Christ, not only separate the body of Christ, but separate yourself from the presence of God and also separate yourself from mankind, because if we don't talk about certain issues in this world, we're never going to get to the point we're going to move forward with peace. So Deep Cover is about a pastor. He's stepping in between the officers and the community, and he's trying to be that facilitator, and he's trying to promote a certain behavior to basically have an interaction between the police officers and the community. And he's against the protesting, but when he finds out that somebody that's very dear to him is doing all the protesting, is rallying the people up to protest. So when he finds this person out and who this person is, now he's gonna have to deal with this person. So it's a good storyline. I'm excited about this here, and it's gonna be some people may think it's a tough thing to talk about, but it's a conversation that we need to talk about.
That's right, and we need thought-provoking shows like that to get us to talking and to get us to thinking in the right direction. So that sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
So when is it? Do you have a tentative date yet, or?
Well, I wanted, and I'm sure you can agree with me with this when I share this here. I wanted to do it this year, but I was feeling a certain reserve because I was like, you know what? This is a good message, and I don't want to rush this thing here. I want to make sure we have quality over quantity. So I'd rather have quality over quantity. So I decided to, you know what? Let's push this back into next year. So I did find an investor, and he did agree with me, and we're gonna have it on May 2018. That's the first time it's gonna come out in this area that I'm looking at, Richmond, and I wanted to bring it to Daytona Beach, Florida, and also I love to try to bring it back home to Fort Lauderdale as well. Daytona is my home as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, we got to talk about that because, I know you don't live in Fort Lauderdale area anymore, but I can point you to some venues. So.
Please. Yeah, we definitely got to talk about that. And I believe in partnership too as well.
All right. Well, we definitely need to talk.
Okay.
Where can people find you? Your website address? Where do they see your work? How can we get in touch with you?
Okay. The fastest way to get in touch with me now is on. I'm learning to get away from Facebook now, and I'm using Instagram and Twitter. So Instagram on McClam Enterprises, MCCLAM Enterprise. You can find me on Instagram with that, and also for Twitter, you can find me on McClam E Production. And Facebook, The Renaissance Man. I just recently shut down my website because I don't believe in getting overcharged, whereas it's a work that I could do myself. So I'm currently now got it under construction. I'm going to rebuild and do my own website and save me money that type of way. Okay. Yeah, so that's one way. Those three ways you can reach me on Twitter is McClam E Production. Instagram is McClam Enterprise. And also Facebook is The Renaissance Man. And if you want to reach me, email, it's McClaменterpriseP@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And there will be links in the show notes for our listeners. If you'd like to just click on those links within the body of the show notes, and you'll be able to reach Mr. McClam. Now, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listening audience before we close out this wonderful interview?
Oh, that's great. I do want to share this here. Please go out on YouTube. I think I sent you the link of Deep Cover, Let Your Light Shine in Dark Places.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you can go to YouTube and go to look up Akiva McClam and go to my YouTube page and view the promo of Deep Cover. I would like those viewers numbers to rise because I want to definitely get those numbers higher, and I want to get the word out about this play.
That'll be great. And we will definitely do that. I personally will. And I pray that all of our listeners, we have to do that for each other because it sounds like it's going to be an awesome show. So I'm looking forward to it. If I have to go to the DMV and see it, I need to get up there. And since I have my sister up there, that shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. And I appreciate that too.
You're welcome. It's just been such a pleasure talking to you. It's like we're already old friends. I look forward to connecting with you and actually getting to see your shows and things like that. Thank you so much for being a part of the Playwrightpreneurs podcast. And
no, I want to thank you for your hard work and what you're doing down in South Florida and also Atlanta, and keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate your time. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our show in iTunes and leave a review. We look forward to connecting with you next time on the Playwrightpreneurs podcast.